Here is an example dealing with measures of center from section 3.1. I will demonstrate both how to compute these measures of center by hand and using the TI-84 Plus Silver Edition calculator. So the example says 9 NCAA head football coaches are selected and their salary was recorded. The results are given below. $250,000, $410,000, $450,147, $332,425, $367,000, $1,231,421, $960,000, $219,000, and $517,000. So first question, does this set of data represent a sample or a population? Well, if you read the example, it says 9 NCAA head football coaches are selected. So there are definitely more than 9 head football coaches. There are 9 listed here. So this is an example of a sample because it comes from a larger population. A lot of times when you're dealing with a sample, you will see the keywords randomly selected. In this case, you don't see them, but usually you do. The data set here is a sample. It's always important to know if you're dealing with a sample or a population. A sample is a sub-collection from a larger population, and the population is everything that you are considering. Second question, what is the mean salary of the 9 randomly selected football coaches? Well, sample mean, since we're dealing with a sample, we use the notation X bar. If it were a population, we would use the notation mu. So to find the mean by hand, all you simply do is add up all 9 salaries, so 250,000, 410,000, all the way up to the last salary listed, which is 517,000. Divide by the total number of salaries that you have, which is 9. So your sum of all 9 salaries is 4,736,993 divided by 9 total salaries. So your mean salary for these 9 randomly selected NCAA football coaches is $526,332.5556, repeating. So of course, since we're dealing with money here, I'm going to go ahead and round 2 decimal places to the nearest cent. So the mean salary of the 9 football coaches is $526,332.56. Third question, what is the median salary of the 9 randomly selected football coaches? Well, when you're finding median, the first thing you need to do is order the data, either from smallest to largest or largest to smallest. It doesn't matter. So I went ahead and listed from smallest to largest. So I ordered the data from the smallest salary, which is $219,000, to the largest salary, which is $1,231,421. And so the median is the middlemost value. And so here we have an odd number of salaries. We have 9. So when there's an odd number of data values, your median is simply the middlemost data value. So looking here, the 5th data value is the middlemost one. There's 4 data values below it and 4 above it. So simply $410,000 is the median salary. What is the mid-range? Well, to find the mid-range, there's a formula. It's the maximum data value, so the largest value in your set, plus the smallest data value or the minimum data value in your data set. You add those up and then simply divide by 2. So our largest data value is 1,231,421 plus the smallest value is 219,000. You add those up, you get 1,450,421. Divide that sum by 2, and so your mid-range is $725,210.50. And the very last question that I have, is to find the mode of the data set. Well, the mode is the value that occurs the most. Sometimes finding the mode, it is helpful to list your data in order, especially when you have a larger data set. Remember, the mode is simply the value or values that occur with the greatest frequency. So, looking at this data set, here they are listed in order. Each salary occurs only one time. No salaries repeat. So the mode here is that there is no mode, because each salary occurs exactly once in this data set. So there is no mode. Okay, so I showed you how to do all of these by hand. However, I'm not expecting you to do all of these by hand. It's very useful to know how to use your TI 8384 graphing calculator. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate. First, you have to enter your 9 values in the calculator. So you press the Stat button. Then the very first thing, it says Edit. You can either press 1 and then Enter, or just simply press Enter. And you're going to see List 1, List 2, List 3, List 4, and so on. So you have to enter all of these values into the list, right? So let's just say I had some values entered. I'm just going to put some numbers. I'm going to show you how to clear the list. So to clear the list, you go all the way up to the top. You press the up arrow and highlight the title of the list, in this case, List 1, and press Clear to clear out the data values in that list. Press Enter, and they're gone. So I'm going to go ahead and list all of my data values. So 250,000, press Enter. 410,000, press Enter, and you continue on and list all of the data values in your data set. And entered all the values. I kind of skipped that step. Notice this value shows up with a scientific notation because it's just a larger number. And so notice here it says list 110. Here it's blank. This is the 10th data value. So that's one way to check to make sure you entered them all. There's 9, so this here is the 9th data value. So first I'm going to show you how to order your data values. Your calculator will do that for you. If you press the Stat button and you scroll down to either sort A or sort D, it doesn't matter which one. I'm going to go ahead and go to number 2 and press Enter. Your calculator will sort the data values, but you need to tell your calculator which list you want it to use. We entered our data into list 1. So I'm going to go ahead and press the second button at the top left corner of the calculator and go down here and click 1 because this corresponds to list 1. If you enter your data into list 2, you would press second 2 or second 3 and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and press that and I'm going to press Enter. It's going to say done. When I go back to my Stat button and I go back and press Enter to open the Edit menu, notice my data values are now listed in order from smallest to largest. This is helpful when you're finding the mode of the data set. So I'm going to show you how to use the graphing calculator to calculate measures of center. Press the Stat button, click the right arrow to highlight Calculate the top, and the very first option you see is VARS stat, which stands for 1 variables statistics. So you can simply press 1 to open this menu or press 2. And so the very first thing, I'm going to go ahead and clear this out, is it says list. Well, you need to tell the calculator which list you use. So you press second and the number 1 for list 1, or second and the number 2 for list 2, and so on and so forth. Next, they have frequency list. You can leave this part completely blank. Scroll down to the bottom, highlight calculate, then press enter. And here we go. These are the data values we calculated by hand. The very first thing you're going to see is X bar. It always has X bar there. The calculator doesn't know if you're dealing with a sample, so you would see X bar, or a population, you would see mu. So it has X bar here. That's the average, or the mean salary, which is the number that we found. If you go ahead and you scroll down, you see the minimum data value in your set, which is 219,000. Q1 we'll learn about later. The median is the middlemost data value. It's the value, or the salary, that cuts your data set in half, where you have 50% of the values below this number and 50% of the values above this number. We found the median earlier was $410,000. Q3 we will also learn about a little later on. The highest value in the data set, which is the $1,231,421. You can use this minimum and maximum here to find your mid-range. Remember, your mid-range is the sum of the minimum and the maximum, simply divided by 2. And that is how you use the TI-8384 graphing calculator to find measures of center.